So I think I will start with the greetings and people will slowly join us. A very, very warm welcome. It is a great honor to have you here with me today. This is the first time I'm doing this, meaning it's the first time I'm going to be channeling in public and live. I do this for my in-person sessions and for myself and for my loved ones. But I would never imagine that I will be asked to do this in this way. So I'm quite nervous, but I have to let go and trust. So yeah, I was asked to do this from my guides a couple of weeks ago, and I was a little bit terrified with the idea, but they really wanted me to do this, and so here we are. I am so grateful to see so many people signing up today. It gives me so much joy and reassurance, and thank you so much. And I have to tell you something. There are 55 people who signed up for this, and you cannot make this up. I mean, if you are in this field, you know that numbers are very significant. So 55 is very powerful number, and I just looked it up before we start this call, and it's all about change. It's all about transformation. It's about your guides reminding you that they are with you, and so yeah, it's quite amazing. Yeah, so I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping, just let you know how this call will go until everybody joins us. There are still many people who haven't joined us yet. So we're going to start with a very, very short meditation just to bring ourselves into this moment and connect with our hearts and asking for guidance, protection. And then I'm going to go into a channeling state, which is going to be a surprise for all of us. I haven't planned anything, and this is scaring me, but it's that's what my guides told me. Just become available, and we are going to speak. We're going to speak through you, and so I have no idea what is going to come through. I know that the message is important and appropriate for whoever chose to be here today. And one thing I can share is I think my higher self is going to speak first. So and then they said that there's going to be a special guest, so to say, which I'm not sure who it's going to be. So yeah, let's see. I have no idea how long this will take, but approximately, I don't want to keep it too long, maybe 20 minutes. And then we're going to open it up for questions and answers. We still have many people who haven't signed up yet, but I think we can begin. So I would like to invite you for a very short meditation, 1-2 minutes, just to center ourselves in the present moment. So please allow your eyes to gently close. And let's just take together 3 conscious breaths, anchoring ourselves into our bodies. And now let's shift our awareness from our minds into our sacred hearts. And I want you to invite your heart now to open. And now I would like to give thanks to those that I am about to invite. I ask that our rooms, homes, and grounds become a sacred space. I invite the divine to be present. I invite our higher selves to be present. I invite our team of guides, angels, souls, star families, and ancestors to be present. I invite the great teachers and masters, the power animals, the healing spirits, the elements and elementals to be present. I invoke the greatest guardians of the divine, compassionate, loving light of Source, the most sacred protection guides to constantly guard our physical and energy fields and create a completely safe, sacred space around our group today. And now we will welcome and greet our co-creators from around the planet, everyone who has joined this call today. So I want you to feel into the high frequency individuals who are now here with us. You can say hi, greeting each other energetically. In loving kindness. And we ask to connect only at a very high frequency level. And as always, I give thanks in advance for the blessings that I know that will happen today. Thank you. Okay, you may, if you wish, allow your eyes to open, or you can keep them closed as I am about to connect with my higher self and bring through the messages. It is with great honor that we greet you today, beautiful family of light, beautiful family of earth. You are all activators and awakeners in this magnificent shift that is taking place upon this planet. You have chosen to be here at this time to help your brothers and sisters and the earth. But we would like to remind you that every shift starts from within. Therefore, we have an invitation for you today. And this is ultimately the shift that takes place on a collective and personal level. This shift is from self-judgments to self-acceptance. Self-acceptance for all that you are, because you are born magnificent, and you are now slowly remembering this. And as we speak through this vessel now, there is so much love pouring into you, into your sacred hearts. And your hearts is the key. Your sacred hearts is the gateway to your higher self and to the whole of creation. Many of you have asked, especially in these times of turbulence and external chaos, how can I keep myself in peace? How can I keep myself in high vibration? And ultimately, how can I help? How can I assist my brothers and sisters and the earth? The answer lies within your very own Christ heart. And so our invitation is to drop into your hearts. You can even do this any moment during the day when you feel yourself out of balance, when you become aware of anxiety or any kind of lower vibrational energies or emotions. You can bring yourself back into the center, bring yourself back into your heart. Imagine yourself and your focus diving from the mind as if your heart would be a pool and you're diving deep inside that pool. Your heart is a portal. In your heart, there's only oneness. There's only unity. There's only love. There's only compassion, gratitude, understanding, knowing. Your heart knows. Your heart is connected to the heart of the earth. Your heart is connected to the heart of this cosmos. They are one. When you bring yourself in that space, that's when you can start to feel this unity. There is a lot of discussion about saving the planet right now. But we would like to assure you that Gaia wants you to be in balance. And when you bring yourself in balance, then this will be felt by her. When you bring yourself in your heart space and act from that place in your everyday life, you will only engage in acts of kindness and gratitude and appreciation and care. And this will be felt by the whole creation. You have a lot of help at the moment. And there is a magnificent group, the elementals, that are a bridge, if you want, between humanity and the earth. And they are also here to assist. They are also here to remind us something that many people have forgotten: the power of joy. The power of joy. This joy of being childlike. There is a lot of upheaval right now on your planet. And even for many of you that are already in your awakening path and already have the tools, we recognize the challenge and we want to honor you for that. You are the bravest souls. You are the bravest souls to come here at this time. And your work is remarkable. And now we would like to bring through a group of beings that is working very closely with our vessel. Greetings. We are the Hathors. We are a group of beings residing in the 7th dimension of the planet known as Venus. Some of you may know us already. Some of you may even be part of our family. Our vessel is certainly one of them. It is the first time that we speak through this instrument, and this transmission comes with enormous amounts of joy. We have been working with you and your planet for eons. We are assisting Gaia and you in a very big way. We are involved in structuring a new matrix for this planet, moving away from the third dimensional density and moving up to the fourth as we speak. This matrix is connected to Sophia and is connected to your ascension process. We are hoping that this process will be complete within this year. And there are many light workers and ground crew members who are working for this, consciously or unconsciously. Some of you may now get what you call goosebumps. If that's the case, you're probably part of this group. But every individual upon this planet is assisting in this massive transformation. And you may ask, what can I do? What can I do to help? You are doing it already. Your light is doing this already, is already holding this in place. Many of you are working during what you call the dream time. This is where your capacities are greater because the conscious mind is out of the way. So you are doing much more work than you can ever imagine. If you're here today, there's no coincidence, there's no mistake, there's no accident. And deep inside your heart, you know why you came here. And all of you are now starting to remember. We have been here for for a very long time. And we have been working with so many of you. It is so joyous to see how you blossom. How your light is shining like blazing stars, more and more and more. The next 6 months are going to be a little bumpy, perhaps. There's going to be a lot of disclosure, if you want. Many things will come to the surface, many things that were hidden. And so we want you to stay in your hearts, stay in the knowing. And things will unfold according to how the energies will be manifested. Many of you are asking, how long is this going to take? And we wish we could give you an answer. But the truth is that no one knows. No one knows, because this is a co-creation. So no one really knows exactly. One thing for sure is that, like everything in nature, is a gradual process. And here we would like to remind you the power of prayer. But when we say prayer, we don't mean prayer as some of you may have thought that prayer is. In order for prayer to really manifest into your physical reality, you need to engage feeling. Feeling is the key for manifestation. Some of you know it already. There are great manifestors. But some of you maybe are just beginning to embody their fourth dimensional expressions. So when you wish, when you pray for something, see it as it is already being done, and feel how it feels as it has already been given. So fill your hearts with joy. Fill your hearts with excitement. And know that the light has already won, and that things are moving very rapidly very, very rapidly. And that you are incredible beings of the highest light. Thank you. So I think we can now move to questions and answers. So I'm going to be reading the chat and then answering the questions, as many as I can. Just a second, I need to drink some tea. Okay, so Vera is asking, Vera, thank you for your question, and I'm very happy that you are joining us today. So my question, surprisingly, the first message made me sad with a heavy heart and tiredness. Why? The first message made me sad with a heavy heart and tiredness. I think I would like that you elaborate on which message, and maybe it will help me if you can. Thank you. And maybe I will continue with the next question until Vera elaborates on her question. So Stephanie, hi Stephanie, thank you for your question. Stephanie is asking, what is an effective way to let go, in particular, resentment and frustrations? What is an effective way to let go, in particular, resentment and frustrations? Very good question. Well, sometimes it can be as simple as you just say, okay, I'm just going to choose to let that go. It's okay, I'm just letting that go. So it's thought patterns that come into our awareness, into our conscious mind, into our conscious awareness. And these are all made from the mind, from the thinking process. And what I'm being reminded is to let go of the mind and drop into the heart. When you drop into the heart, you find the peace that you're looking for. You find the answers that you're looking for. You find the wisdom that you're looking for. And everything that has being manifested from the mind, which is a tool that is of polarity, is just melting away. It doesn't matter anymore. So I would say, bring yourself back into your heart. And when you do that, immediately you will feel a sense of peace. And if you stay there a little longer, you might even start to tap into your higher wisdom. And then you might even find guidance on how to perhaps work further with these frustrations if you need to dive deeper. But just bringing yourself into your heart space, is a very powerful shift. Thank you. Okay. Jennifer, thank you for your question. Is the condition known as autism caused by influences in the environmental, or is it present for a greater purpose? If it's for a purpose, what is the purpose? Thank you. Very good question. Is autism caused by influences in the environments, or is it present for a general purpose? And if so, what is the purpose? As with everything, any physical imbalance, what causes it is not necessarily one reason. There might be physical reasons why this has been manifested. There might be energetic, emotional, spiritual, and so on. So just like with every manifested physical imbalance that we experience in our physical bodies, so is autism. So it can be from emotional, mental imbalances, but it can also be triggered by physical triggers. So, but there's something about autism that I want to address. Because autism is a label for an imbalance that has become somehow more common these days. And many have noticed that autism in many cases is a, how to put that, is beings who experience autism are beings from higher dimensions that when they come in the physical, it's very difficult for them to navigate this reality. It's very dense and challenging, and many beings, especially if they are used to different ways of being and different frequencies, and they have to squeeze, quote unquote, themselves into a third dimensional existence, they can perhaps have it can create in them distortions, and these distortions can be expressed in the way they interact with their environment, how they interact with other beings, or how they perceive even this reality. So in many cases, these beings are highly evolved in terms of their soul journey and their let's say Akashic records and what they have experienced until the now, where they are in this body experiencing autism. And it's like as if it's an instrument out of tune. So what comes into my mind now is, okay, how can we help them? people who are experiencing this imbalance that we call autism. First of all, they need to be deeply understood. They need to be accepted and understood in a very deep level. So their family, their loved ones, people who are their caretakers, need to be very conscious, very aware of what they're dealing with, and they need to also, in the physical level, it's because it can be also amplified by external toxic elements. They need a proper cleanse. They need very in the physical level, they need to be cleansed, and also, yeah, I think it's a very it's a topic that I could explore in depth, and I think I cannot do this right now, but definitely I could suggest on the first level, which is the physical, a cleanse to remove toxins from the body that have accumulated, and to clear all the channels of the body, and then work on the emotional and mental levels, and find proper compassionate and people who are very knowledgeable, therapists and healers, to help them bring them back into balance. Thank you. So so Vera is saying about her question, that the one that brought her, she said, the message made me sad and very heavy. She said the first channeling, not the guest speaker, the first channeling. You know, Vera, I think I don't remember what the message was. I was quite deep, I think, and give me a second to remember everything that came through in the first part, where I guess that was my higher self and my guides speaking, and the message was about the heart, I think. It was, yes, I think the main message was about the heart, right? I see. Can you note, Vera? Yes, the heart. So, yeah. Well, for me, it's very clear as you ask this question, is because through this channeling, there was also the invitation to connect with the heart, and that was actually also what we did in the beginning. So the thing with the heart is that it can hold many emotions. And if we're still holding on to lower vibrational energies and emotions, when you get in touch with your heart, you feel these emotions. So this is why you felt the sadness, and because it seems as you are holding sadness in your heart that needs to be released. And that's why you got in touch with this part of you, and that's good because now you are aware of that, and you can work on that. But it's a very good question, so I will make a parenthesis here, and since I remember now the message, connecting with the heart was the message. Yes, it's a very how to say. It's so huge. I mean, I think it's what is this shift all about. I mean, the whole thing, I think, is about what we are experiencing is to disconnect from the mind and connect to the heart. It's massive. But one thing I would like to say is that I because I'm working a lot with the heart. I'm a School of the Heart teacher, and I'm doing extensive workshops reactivating people's hearts, so I could add a little bit on that, on connecting with the heart space. So you need to do a lot of healing, because if you haven't done healing, emotional healing on your heart, because heart holds a lot of emotions, a lot of trauma a lot of energies, many people, because we come in so pure on this planet. We come in so so pure, and because we get like all these challenging experiences, whether we had a loving family, we have to deal with very unconscious society and so many other challenges. So many of us do accumulate a lot of negative emotions, suppressed negative emotions, energies that are oftentimes being suppressed and hidden in the heart space. And also many people I see it also in my private sessions, many people have their hearts are deactivated and they cannot connect to their hearts because they have to protect themselves. Even as children, they have built it, walls, metaphorically speaking, around their heart, so that they don't get hurt. Because perhaps when they were dealing with very challenging situations as children, and they didn't have the tools to know how to work with these experiences and how to heal themselves from negative experiences. And it was like it's a protective mechanism that happens, and their heart, and there's a people create a protection around the heart, like a jail, like a stone wall or something, so that the heart doesn't get hurt, so that they can continue living upon this planet to get by. And so healing is very important. There are many techniques. There are many ways you can heal the heart. You can release negative energies, negative emotions. Wonderful techniques, so many tools, and when you reach a certain level, then the more you remove these layers, the more you can dive deep into the heart. So yeah, healing heart in the heart is very, very important. So a question from Frank. Thank you, Frank, for the question. You stated Hathors, goddess Isis and her sister Phil were Hathors. Is this a question or a statement? I'm not sure. I guess it's a question. So the question is if Isis and her sister were part of the Hathors. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, they were, let's say, part of the Hathors, because the Hathors, they first came upon this planet during the times of the golden age of Egypt. That was the first time that they actually decided to incarnate upon human or semi-human, physical or semi-physical human bodies upon this planet. And until then, they were mainly here as energy beings. And and during the times of after the fall of Atlantis, when Egypt started to flourish, and there were so many powerful beings that walked upon that era, and many of them were actually Hathor descendants. So yes, the being called Isis is a Hathor descendant, is connected to this civilization. Constanza, hello, and thank you for your question. Hi. So the question is, how can I help myself and others best? Is there any information available concerning my professional journey? 1. And 2, something concerning stopping to smoke. And 3, okay, I don't know if I can answer all these questions. I asked for one question each, but let me start with the first one and we see. Okay, how can I help myself and others best? Is there any information available concerning my professional journey. We feel that you have a deep knowledge of sound and frequency, and we would suggest that you could use these gifts, this knowledge, and share them with the world. If this is something that brings you excitement. Being in nature is also very important for you, and even combining both. And there is something I'm sensing something. I don't know if you are aware or not, but what comes very now is like it brings these two together, and it's the bridge that we were mentioning in the beginning of our channeling is the elementals. So I'm being told to remind you that you have how to say, there's a let's say an open line, open how you say, like, how you say this, open line for you to connect with elementals, that the elementals are around you, they work with you, and if you choose, so you can work with them. They are when we say elementals, we mean all the groups of beings. Yes, okay, you're nodding, so I guess you understand what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, I'm being reminded, I'm being told to remind you that the elementals are actually very close to you. You have been also part of certain elemental groups in the past. And yeah, I get goosebumps. And so, yeah, these beings are very joyous, very also they love music and they love nature, so they can really inspire you, and you can co-create really beautiful things together in a very joyous way, and they can also guide you if you ask for assistance. Yes, you're very welcome. Okay, I will move on with questions, and if I have time, Constanza, I will answer the other two questions because there are quite some questions here. Okay, so the next question is from Carlos. Thank you, Carlos, for your question. And the question is, hi Hara, it was beautiful and intense. Thanks a lot for this priceless. I also felt I went to a sleep mode while the being from Hathor talked. My question is, I was told by my higher self that my life purpose is to go out there and help people, adults and children, from Mali nationalities, from male nationalities, to find the joy they lost. But still, I don't know how I would be able to do that. Thank you very much in advance. Just a second. So the answer is in the how, not the what. Yes, if you so choose, you may go out there, so to say, and inspire your brothers and sisters and share joy and laughter. And the way you can do that is by choosing whatever brings you most joy. So there is no specific field that you should be working on. It's more about what brings you joy. You have, as I'm sensing, there is not a specific mission that you should be a gardener or a therapist or something very specific. And it's more about doing what brings you most joy and excitement, what makes you more happy, and whatever that might be, without judgment and without worrying if it's gonna work and if you're gonna be able to make money out of it. But the invitation is to go where you feel more joy, the highest excitement. And this will create the channel, the canal through where this will be given, shared to the other people. So this is what I receive, and yeah, I hope it helps. Ella, thank you for your question. The question is, how can I widen my perspective on my sexuality? Okay, what comes first is it's quite funny. That's why it's kind of humorous. That's why I'm laughing. So what I was being told is that you can look at nature and how creative and playful it is, and you could perhaps get some inspiration there. That's one thing on widening the perspectives on sexuality. And then something else that came as well was that there's a lot of talk lately upon this planet about sexuality, and we don't want to get into it very deeply, but we would like to remind you that there is no right and wrong. That means that if you feel yourself, let's say, strict within a certain preference, right? That's absolutely okay. That's fine. You don't need to necessarily open yourself up. You don't need to force yourself up to adapt to the current trends or agendas or whatever is being pushed and being manifested into the collective as the new way of how things should be. What I'm sensing is that we have to stay true to ourselves, because I'm sensing in this question a certain amount of something that needs to be forced, as if that your question comes up from a space of wanting to force yourself, and this is not recommended. Every being is different. Every race is different. There are races that are asexual. There are races that are homosexual. There are races that are pansexual. There's no right and wrong. Sex is just it's just I don't know how to say. It's just a very primordial expression, and it shouldn't be tried to be controlled in any or manipulated or forced in any way. What I would say, that being said, is that I think you should honor your body, honor your needs, and allow your true desire, your true instead of perhaps judging it, in whatever way you might be judging yourself for your thoughts or desires. Instead of that, accepting how you feel, and go with that, and maybe even from that place things might open up and unfold in ways that maybe you haven't even expected. I hope it's not too abstract what I said, and I hope it makes sense. Thank you for your question. So Kiki, thank you for your question. How can I deal with an anxious mindset that causes stress in everyday living? A recurring pattern of anxious thoughts. I feel I might lead to negative manifestations. How can I deal with this better? Well, the mind is in some way anxious by nature, if you want. The mind is a tool that is it's supposed to first of all is a polarity tool, and it's polarized in negative and positive, not in terms of just in terms of energy, like yin yang. There's no judgment here, but it's also the conscious mind we are talking about. The conscious mind is the analytical mind, right? Is this everyday mind, and what you are asking, what you're experiencing is the modern disease. Is what most of the people are actually experiencing on this planet. You're not the only one. Most of the people are being led and being like dragged by their mind, in a way. I'm talking metaphorically, and the mind is it can have a very strong grip and hold on you if the more you allow it, the more you allow yourself to engage with it. The thing is that on our society, there has been a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of weight has been given to this way of being, to the thinking mind. There's all the everything that external in our society is from the lens of the mind. We are living in a very mind-oriented society, and that's why we see this craziness, this chaos, and this polarity, and this separation, and all this even sometimes destructive ways of being, to ourselves, to other people, to the planet, and so on. And this is because of our orientation into our in our focus on the mind. So one thing you can do, of course, is to become aware of that and practice presence is an extremely powerful tool. Practicing presence when these thoughts, when you become aware of these thoughts, that they are dragging you and they are telling you stories which you need to follow, and the more you follow, the more you suffer in a way. You just bring yourself back into the present moment. Practicing presence is extremely powerful. It needs dedication and discipline, but it's really an incredible tool. And another powerful tool, of course, is what was being shared in the beginning of this call about bringing yourself into the heart space, the place of peace, the place of unity, the place of knowing. The mind thinks, the heart knows. Every time you feel yourself being pulled into this tornado of thoughts of what went wrong and what could go wrong and what did he say and what did she do and what do I have to do and all these things, all this creation of the thinking everyday analytical mind. Remember to bring yourself back into your heart and just be in that place. And one last thing I wanted to say is that let me see how I put this, how I express this. I'm trying to find the right term. There's another thing upon this planet that is overrated, and this is what is it called? This is, I don't find the right term, but this is like trying to understand something. So this, trying to make a sense out of something, trying to analyze it and to figure it out in your mind. Just this intense thinking process. This is something that it's also overrated. We don't need to understand everything. We don't need to explain everything. We don't need to know everything. We just don't. We don't. We need to trust. We need to let go. We need to relax. We need to know that whatever we need, we're going to have the moment that we need it. The moment that is appropriate and that is needed. And I will give you an example. I learned this by doing, because I'm doing intuitive sessions one-on-one. So I'm doing what we do, but in one-on-one sessions. And so I'm practicing my intuitive and channeling abilities. And I learned that, first of all, to let go. And because I don't know the questions, like now, I don't know the questions. They just come. I'm just reading it now and I have to answer now. So I don't know before what the question will be. So I need to trust and let go and be in the present moment. And then I don't need to understand, not understand, sorry, this is not what I want to say. I need to trust that sometimes if the question is needed and is important and is appropriate, the answer will come. If it's not appropriate and if it's not needed for whatever reason, it will not come. So we have been led to believe that we need to be very smart and understand and know everything. That's not the case. We think that we should know, but ancient Greek philosopher said, all I know is that I know nothing. So yeah, you can also perhaps allow yourself to rest in a place of not knowing, not needing to understand. I think maybe it's a bit far out from what you asked, but maybe many people needed to hear this today, to be reminded. Okay, myself included. Okay, so Carlos is asking, when is the next journey into the heart, School of the Heart? Yes, I have no idea. I haven't scheduled something yet. I will definitely let you know when this comes up. Thank you for your interest. So, Alisa, thank you for your question. She's asking, what is an effective way of dealing with the perceived threat coming from and fear and distrust towards the person and their energy? What is an effective way of dealing with the perceived threats coming from and fear and distrust towards the person and their energy? It seems like you have forgotten who you are. It seems like you have forgotten that you are indestructible and that nothing can harm you unless you give it permission. Nothing, no one can ever harm you unless you believe that they can. And when you do believe that they can, then you automatically, subconsciously give them permission to perhaps harm you without even maybe doing anything, but just by you mirroring this fear into yourself, right? So there are some old school spiritual beliefs that you need to protect yourself. And by all means, if you feel like you need to protect yourself, please go ahead and do so. You can use these permission slips, whether it's with intentions or using affirmations or crystals or anything. But ultimately, our invitation is to remember who you truly are. Remember that you are pure light, pure love, and nothing can ever harm you in any way unless you believe so. And there's one more thing we would like to share. And it has to do with darkness in general. There's this perception in your current experience as third-dimensional beings of this polarity between good and evil, right? And good is good and bad is bad. But we just like to remind you that this is an illusion. Any perceived division is an illusion. The dark is just the absence of light. And it doesn't have its own, how to say, it's just, yeah, it doesn't have its own, I don't find the right word. I'm sorry, my English is not my native tongue, but I think you understand what I mean. So in other words, we will give you this example. You are in a dark room and you turn on a candle, just a tiny or a much, a tiny little amount of light can immediately exterminate or disappear, make this darkness just disappear absolutely immediately. So it's just all an illusion, and so that's the reason why we are sharing is that there's actually from the higher perspective, there is not even a reason, if you want, to be afraid of the darkness, because the darkness is just serving the light. It's just a way for this dynamic of expansion and contraction to take place, for this ongoing evolution. It's even needed in a way. We judge it as negative or bad, but it's not. It's part of the machine of how this cosmos is working. It has a purpose, and we are moving out of this now. As we shift, what is happening is we are moving out of this consciousness of separation and of good and bad, and we are starting to see the bigger picture, and we are starting to understand that, oh, okay, actually, yeah, these two are one. They are working together, and they have a purpose both, and so and honor and really accept and yeah, I think honor is maybe a better term to use of these different types of energies. Yeah, I hope that helps. Joanna or Johanna, thank you for your question. So I have 5-month-old baby. Wow, congratulations. And would be grateful for some advice regarding how to guide, assist him so he can fully blossom into who he became here to be. Thank you. Oh, what a beautiful question. I mean, all the questions are beautiful, but yes, so this small one is much more powerful than you think it is. It's gonna be one of your greatest teachers, as long as you allow it. So our invitation is to allow him to be, it's a boy. I'm not sure if I understand from the question, or him, yes, him, it's a boy. Allow him to be who he is as much as you can, just support him. That's our invitation, to support him and allow him to blossom into who he is here to be, without judging, without trying to understand, or of course, in the physical level, it's important to take care of him as much as you can, for sure. But your question, I guess, is much more, is much deeper than that. So our advice is to allow him and honor who he is, and let him express that. And he will know when you just need to hold him. You just need to hold a loving space, a sacred space, a loving space of acceptance and honor and gratitude for his presence, because he's going to do an amazing work. This little baby, he will grow up and he's going to be a leader in awakening. We feel that very strongly. I'm getting goosebumps. Just hold him in honor and respect for who he is, and just support him in however he wants to express himself. And he's going to challenge you a lot, so that's why he's going to be your greatest teacher. And yeah, he is very special. Thank you. So Vera is asking, when you recommended Costanza to develop an activity related to sound and frequency, it resonated with me to use this technique as a way to heal my heart. I love how a personal question brings also an answer to someone else in the group. Yes, thank you, Vera. So Rick is asking, thank you for your question, first of all. I think, yeah, okay, great. We still have a little bit of time, so I think I can address all these questions that are here. So how do I discover my higher purpose and make a stronger connection with angels and guides and trust the source I'm connecting with? How can I discover my higher purpose and make a stronger connection with angels and guides and trust the source I am connecting with? So we will divide this question in two parts, and perhaps we might bridge it at the end. So the first part would be how to discover my higher purpose. Your higher purpose is to be in your highest vibration. Your higher purpose is to be in the vibration of joy, in the vibration of freedom, in the vibration of love, in the vibration of excitement, in the vibration of peace, in the vibration of creativity. This is your purpose. And so whatever you feel that will cultivate that, go that way. And let us remind you that by doing what it is, because we are going to expand further on another question earlier, whatever it is that you are doing, enjoy. What happens is that you are transmitting these frequencies in a very powerful way, and that's how you help others. That's how you also help not only yourself, but help others. When what you do comes from a space of joy, true, pure joy, this is the most powerful way you can be. This is the most even effective way in terms of purpose, because you are all here for the experience, but also to help each other and help yourselves. And many of you are guided to assist and help others. And you cannot give what you don't have. So if you are called to be of service to others, which is the same as being of service to self. There is no separation or distinction, just a different perspective. But again, being on your as choosing, allowing yourself to choose to indulge in activities that bring you joy and happiness and excitement and peace and all these good vibes. You are fulfilling then your purpose, because your purpose is there. Your purpose is always there. There are no slaves or victims. It's just about being honest with yourself and allow yourself to step into what is it without fear. Just go for it. Choose what it is that brings you most joy, and from there on, you're going to offer this to not only yourself but every single being that crosses your path, whether it's a human being or a plant or a tree or an animal or the planet itself or the magnetic field or the whole cosmos. You are so powerful, you have no idea. So that's how that's what I would answer in terms of higher purpose and how to discover it. I think connect with yourself, connect to your heart space, and you're gonna find it there. And how to, then there's a second part of how to make stronger the connection with angels and guides. And here's the bridge, because what I have found in my personal experience, the more I raise my frequency, the more I open up my channels of communication, the more I am able to connect more and more with my guides and my higher self or my star family or whoever that is. So the more you raise your frequency, the more you allow yourself to do things that you love and be surrounded and so on and so forth by joy and love and all that. The more you will be actually raising your frequency, so there will be a frequency match. You will be raising your frequency, and there will be a frequency match between you. You will basically closing the gap between you and your guides and your angels and your higher self. And you will, and then the connection will be easier, much easier, because you will be much closer in terms of frequency and your higher self. And eventually you will, if you do a very good job, you're going to end up embodying into the physical body the essence of your soul, the essence of your higher self. Become this highest version of you, becoming the higher self in the physical, a God realized being. That's what is Ascension all about. And then you're connected 24/7. So that's how you make the connection stronger. That's my way. I'm sure that there are so many other ways people are suggesting, and I think there's no right or wrong. I'm just sharing from my own experience how I'm working with the connection with the cosmos. And trust, the key. It's a key word. Trust the source I'm connecting with. Well, that's a big discussion, actually. I will tell you very briefly, because we still have some more questions. How can you trust? Well, how can you trust the source you're connecting with? I will answer very quickly in two parts. Maybe actually it doesn't have to be two parts. It will be one. So you will know first of all, you might, especially in the beginning, if you're starting to do this work, if you're starting to raise the antennas and start to connect with other quote unquote levels of consciousness, you might receive guidance. Well, actually, you always do. It's just that we don't really quiet the mind to listen to it. But however, when you will receive this guidance, you might not necessarily, perhaps in the beginning, are very sure about where does the information come from. Maybe, we have all these labels. We have the higher self, we have the angels, we have the guides, we have the star family, we have the elementals, we have the masters, we have the ascended master, we have the archangels, la, 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 la. And then you're like, oh my God, where am I connecting to? Or maybe it's a demonic being, or maybe it's someone proposing and that is a benevolent being, but is a malevolent, and all of these things. And I understand that can be very confusing, but I will make it very simple for you, very quickly. Okay, so first of all, what is most important is not the label. Is not, okay, I'm now channeling Archangel Gabriel, or I'm channeling Jesus, or I don't know what. The essence is the most important. All these tags and labels are just mind-made human creations, right? Ultimately, there is no separation, but let's not go there. What I want to focus on is the essence. You need to focus on the essence of the message. I'm talking about the essence of the message. Is the message benevolent? How can you trust is the question. And the answer is, you can trust it when the answer is benevolent, when the intuitive guidance, the information is benevolent, when the information is coming from a place of unity consciousness, when it comes from a place of compassion, understanding, when it comes from a place of that it doesn't come from ego. It doesn't blame. Instead, it understands. It doesn't want to create separation. Instead, it creates unity. It's also all these things. And one last thing before I move on to the next question is, you can, when you receive information, pass it through your body. Your body has such wisdom. The body's wisdom is incredible. Trust your body. The body will help you, will give you the answer. So when you receive the information, does the information make you expand or contract? If the information is expansive in the way it feels in your body, you will, the more you do it, the more you will train to become more familiar with these sensations. The more if the information is expansive, you can trust it. If the information is contractive, means that it includes fear, and this is not a source that you want to trust. It's illusional, wherever it comes from. Okay, so that's my answer. Yeah, I'm thinking if there's anything else I wanted to say. I think that's all I wanted to say. I hope it helps. So Kiki, yes, that's true. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Okay. And another question. I think it's the last question. Okay. So hello, Hara. Thank you so much. It does help. I will remind myself of who I am and that I am saying. Okay. So there seems that there is no other question. Okay. Yeah, I think I answered all the questions. I hope if there's any other question that I missed, please let me know before I close the circle of questions and answers, because I was going in and out of connecting and I might have missed something. No. If you're quiet, means that I did answer all the questions. So, oh my God, thank you so much. I am so excited, and I'm so happy actually to have done this and with you. It has been a great honor to connect with you today. If you're here, means that you trust in me, and it's the most incredible gift I can ever receive. And so I really truly want to thank you for being here with me, listening to me for 1.5 hours. I love you all, whether I know you or not, in person or from the internet. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, stay shining, and stay in love, stay in your hearts. That's the last message I have. Stay in your hearts. It's really very much better place to be. Believe me, the heart is where we want to be, especially right now, because we are going through a roller coaster. So we need to have an anchor, and the anchor is here in the heart. And so again, I am reminding you to sometimes during the day, just whenever you feel drawn into the madness and chaos, to bring yourself back into the heart. Everything is there. All the beauty, all the love is there. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Big hugs, much love. Bye bye.